Welcome back, guys. I'm Quinn, and I'm here with Dave. Today's article is from TheGuardian.com. Scientists say halting deforestation just as urgent as reducing emissions. Protecting and restoring forest would reduce 18% of emissions by 2030 and help to avoid global temperature rise beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, so everyone always says that CO2 and car exhaust is the cause of global warming.
Right.
And they don't pay attention to the fact that CO2 is actually filtered by trees, which
Also,
we're cutting down at an insane rate.
I think I read once that trees can hold carbon monoxide, and once they're cut down, it releases it into the atmosphere in small amounts, so that massive deforestation can release huge amounts of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's true.
So while everyone's claiming it's cars, I don't know why nobody cares that we're cutting down trees. I guess some people do. But also another thing, the roads we're building since cars were created
Yeah.
are huge heat-absorbing piles of rock.
It's funny you say that because when you're driving through the United States and you look out and see mountains and bunches of trees, there's a lot of times where you'll go just about a quarter mile beyond that line of trees and you'll see everything has been cut down. And they try to plant new trees, but usually the new trees don't take as well and don't grow as well. So, yeah, it's always good to plant a tree, I guess. Large tracts of tropical forests, such as this one in the Amazon, are being lost to farmland. Yeah, it's like not only that, but I was watching a thing about it was palm oil and how they would deforest huge jungle rainforests to plant palm oil stuff that they use in different products. And there's definitely certain companies you can avoid to not support that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure which ones exactly. The role of forests in combining climate change risks being overlooked by the world's governments, according to a group of scientists that has warned halting deforestation is just as urgent as eliminating the use of fossil fuels. Raising the world's forests would release more than 3 trillion tons of carbon dioxide, more than the amount locked in identified global reserves of oil, coal, and gas. By protecting and restoring forests, the world could achieve 18% of the emissions mitigation needed by 2030 to avoid runaway climate change, the group of 40 scientists spanning 5 countries said in a statement.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's carbon dioxide. Yeah. And
we're all claiming cars are making CO2 when it's like trees are a part of the balance, man.
Right. We must protect and maintain the healthy forests to avoid dangerous climate change and to ensure the world's forests continue to provide services critical for the well-being of the planet and ourselves, the statement reads. The intervention comes as the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change gathers in South Korea ahead of Monday's release of an eagerly awaited report on how the world can avoid warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit, beyond pre-industrial levels, an aspirational target of the landmark Paris climate deal in 2015. It is expected the report will focus on required changes to the energy system rather than forests. In responding to the IPCC report, our message as scientists is simple. Our planet's future climate is inextricably tied to the future of its forests, the scientist's statement pointedly concludes. Trees and other vegetation currently absorb around a quarter of the CO2 humans are adding to the atmosphere, softening the potential impact of climate change. While the world won't lose all of its trees, large tracts of tropical forests, which hold a vast amount of carbon, are still being lost in the Amazon, Central Africa, and Indonesia. That's what I was thinking of, is Indonesia is where they're doing all that palm oil harvesting, which is really bad. I know there's... I don't know. It just looked like the pictures I saw were just terrible. Warming temperatures are also fueling huge fires in the forests in higher latitudes, as witnessed this summer when much of northern Sweden was aflame. And I had no idea that was happening, but it seems like everywhere is catching on fire this summer. California was on fire. There was just fires everywhere, and there was fire warnings when I was driving through places. The forest piece of the conversation is also the forest piece of the conversation is often lost, and I don't think the IPCC will highlight it enough, said Deborah Lawrence, a professor of environmental sciences at the University of Virginia and a signatory of the statement. We almost take forest as a given, but we lose forest every year, which means we are diminishing them as a carbon sink.
Yeah.
Deforestation has been massively reduced in the Amazon, but that hasn't happened elsewhere. As countries get more peaceful in Africa, we could lose more tropical forests, which really worries me.
Wait. He's really...
Wait.
Whoa, if we
How does peace bring loss of tropical forests?
More industrialization, maybe?
Right.
But still, like, he's worried that they might have peace in Africa?
Yeah, what is he, like an investor in bullets?
Uh-huh.
The IPCC's report is expected to mention the need for as yet unproven technology to burn vegetation and bury the resulting emissions underground, or directly suck carbon from the air as a way to meet the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. So somebody's got to commission their buddy to build this air-sucking carbon dioxide machine. We'll suck it into space.
It's a vacuum, but it only collects CO2.
We'll just blow it into a country where they don't know what we're talking about, and it'll be fine.
Below the CO2.
We'll bury it in the Utah mountains. The statement by Lawrence and other scientists warns the former strategy known as bioenergy with carbon capture and storage, or BECCS, is untested and risks wiping out huge areas of rainforest in order to make way for plantation timber for energy. Yeah, it's called clear cutting, I believe, is a word they use for that, and it sucks. Untested, wiping out, just not good words, I don't like that. It breaks my heart to think that we'd lose half of our tropical forests for plantations just to save ourselves, Lawrence said. It's horrifying that we'd lose our biodiversity to avert climate change. Losing tropical forests is not somehow cheaper than putting up wind farms in the U.S. or Sahara. You can have both. You can have a tropical forest and a couple windmills. You don't have to cut down the entire forest.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Lawrence said a steep drop in emissions to zero by 2040 would negate the need for negative emissions technology that would damage forests' ability to suck up carbon, maintain local water supplies and weather patterns, and provide a home for a riot of birds, mammals, insects, and other creatures. Yes.
A riot of birds? Was that necessary?
But it's like, what? Yeah, you don't need to build a bunch of new machines to solve a problem that we could solve just by...
the machines would be good, though.
You don't even know what kind of machines they're talking about building.
CO2 sucking machines.
Yeah, they're
giant.
Who knows how big they are?
They look like nuclear fission silos, but they're vacuums. And then you see the CO2 going backwards into it.
That sucks.
No, it's good. It's good for the environment.
I would not want to live next to that. We will have a hotter, drier world without these forests, Lawrence said. There needs to be an international price on carbon to fund the protection of forests. And countries with tropical forests should maintain large chunks of forest to stabilize rainfall for agriculture and keep a predictable regional climate. The prospects for averting at least 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming appear dim. However, with co-author of the upcoming IPCC report warning last week, the world is nowhere near on track to meet its Paris commitments. And the whole idea of that whole Paris agreement, in my opinion, is just good to protect forest and just plant more trees. We all know somebody's going to try to build a machine that's going to try to solve the problem of consumers using too many fossil fuels, but the whole problem is just consumers not using as many fossil fuels, and you don't need any of this other crap.
I guess. My opinion is that... Yeah, that's the end of the article. My opinion is that car emission is stupid to worry about. If we stop... I mean, we can't get rid of roads, you know? Even with electric cars, roads are going to be there collecting energy. We're going to be cutting down trees. And, yeah, I mean, we can get rid of cars and roads, but
do we really need trees anymore to use for stuff besides toilet paper, which people could
houses are built of wood.
I understand that someone could build a machine that sucks carbon dioxide up away from something and puts it somewhere where it will never bother us. Well, if someone can do that, can't they do the same thing with our poop?
Wait a minute. Trees already are the machine that sucks up CO2.
Oh my God. They figured it out.
I figured it out.
You're a genius.
Yeah. If they plant trees, they won't have to make a machine because the tree is the machine.
I think it's just a matter of not having enough patience. You want it to happen overnight, but trees take time to grow, but don't be afraid to plant one. That's my final thought.
I feel like we could have a perfect balance of cars on the road and roads. If we don't cut down trees, we plant them. Or why can't we plant more trees than...
People
Yeah.
and trees take over?
Would that be bad?
I would like to watch that happen.
That'd be weird. Yeah.
I'm down.
Forest cities and...
I'm down.
Yeah.
Like a tree war? Like, we've had enough humans.
Like,
Kill
Lord of the
all
Rings.
humans.
Walking trees.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's it for the video. Leave your comments in the bottom where you can write comments. Don't forget to like the video, and we'll see you next time.